All right, hi and welcome to a quick guide about the OG or FRC shooter robot. This is the original robot that was released with the simulator. We're going to talk a little bit about how to use it effectively, what some of the strengths and weaknesses are. So, the OG robot is primarily a scoring robot. It is particularly poor at defense because it doesn't have a very strong drivetrain. Actually, both the other Inertia and Roboteers robots have a stronger drivetrain that will really bully and abuse the OG robot's drivetrain. So really, this is a scoring robot. The other big thing that's important to know about the OG or FRC shooter robot is it's the only robot that can go under the trench. So that opens up a lot of avenues for the robot to maneuver around defense a little bit better, drive through protected zones, and shoot rapidly, get a high score. Um, Obviously, another strength or another weakness is it's the only robot that can't really auto aim or shoot from a protected zone, which makes it a lot more challenging to score. So um, it can't hit any inner ports, any inner ports from a protected zone. All of them are unprotected, so that makes it a lot more abusable. Another disadvantage is it has probably the worst hopper in the game in terms of jamming. Jams will be very common with the OG robot, and it takes a lot of skill to get used to unjamming these hoppers. But on the flip side, it does have the best intake in the game, so it's very good at picking up from the wall or multiple clumps of balls quite smoothly with basically no issue. In terms of binds, there's a couple things that I recommend. Number one, as with all robots that I have, is I recommend binding your chute to the right bumper or left bumper. And then whatever one you don't do is the outtake. So for me, the right bumper is the chute, as you can see on the bottom right hand side, and then outtake is the left hand, which we can outtake a ball there, as you just saw. The other thing is for climbing, instead of the default left and right D-pad, which currently do nothing, as you can see, the climbing binding that I recommend is left trigger and right trigger for raise and lower. And this is so that you can keep your hands on moving the robot, because oftentimes you'll want to do last second climbs. You want to kind of swing in at the end, and if you don't have to take your fingers off of the joysticks, that's going to make your climb a lot better. The other thing is slow turn is also bound to Y or right trigger. Those are my two slow turn binds, which are very useful. Number one is so that you can the Y or the triangle is for spinning the control panel slower if you need to for the position control. And then slow turn for uh, shooting is so that whenever you're shooting, you can make micro adjustments and just slowly edge your way into a better position for an inner shot. In terms of aiming circle, you see that I have a couple dots on the screen. These dots are made through a program called Epic Pen, which you can Google and get some information about. Basically, the gist of it is you really want to use an aiming circle so you can make sure you're hitting inner shots. You know when you're lined up. As you can see, if I were shooting here, I would miss inners, which we'll show in just a sec. But you can see the blue dot corresponds with the OG, so you can see it lines up pretty decently with where the balls are shooting. And then of course if we want to hit inners, we can just get the blue dot in the center of the goal. That's going to help you increase your score a lot. In order to set up Epic Pen, basically you just download it. Normally it will come with nothing on it. Basically what you need to do is you just line up kind of blind, look for trying to center yourself on the panel, and then you would take the pen tool, make one click, and then that would be your marker. And whenever you don't want to see these dots on your screen, you can just press the I button and it'll remove them all. So that's the aiming circle. There's a few different ways to do it, but that's definitely the one that I recommend. In terms of shooting locations, there's really only 2 shooting locations that the OG can do, and only one of them is from the 3-pointers. So basically on the line, slightly in front of the line, you can also do, which you can see there, or slightly behind the line if you're moving forwards. You can also shoot. So one of the key things for OGs is shooting on the run. And what that means is you're shooting while moving. Generally, it's done through the trench. So once you're through the trench, you'll align yourself and start shooting, which that was not a good example of because we jammed. Just clear the hopper a little bit here. So once you're through the trench, you want to aim for the goal. You make sure that you're getting unjammed, and then you can shoot along the run and get some really quick shots off, which is really important for scoring high with OG runs, like so. That was a much better one. The other shooting location that you have, which you basically only want to do if you're being played defense on, is where you go basically max hood, just at the very tip of the triangle, and then you can shoot 2-pointers. And this is the only protected area that you have, where you're inside the triangle. You can't be hit without the opponent taking a foul. And that can be definitely useful in some cases. But of course, you're sacrificing the 3-pointer. In terms of autonomous modes, the OG has one of the most versatile autonomous mode positioning. So from left, one of the standard autonomouses is to steal these 2 really quickly, back up, take the full 9. Helps if I set my hood. Yeah, actually, hood position, that you definitely want to use the automatic hood positioning button, which for me is circle or B, I believe, and that will set it to just under 13, which is going to be right. So that's one autonomous that's pretty standard. Another autonomous that's pretty standard is just doing the full 9. Which can be a 54-point auto, which I unfortunately missed one. Another standard autonomous is doing the 9 plus human player station, which is a little bit more tricky. We're going to grab those like so. And so that can go up to 84. I missed one enter there. And those are kind of the main 2 from left. I guess from left you can also do the what we call the meta auto, which is taking these. Oh, imagine setting your hood angle. Whoops. So yeah, taking these, shooting these off. I'm not going to be able to get it here. Let's try again. See if we can get a somewhat respectable auto here. Like so. 94 auto, quite strong actually. That's a very solid auto. So that's kind of the last one that you can do from left. From center, one of the old things that we used to one of the things you can do, of course, is you can still do the line. Like so. Get the full 54. You can do the meta from center. We're not going to get the best auto here, but it's something. But that can also get you 90 to 100. And yeah, that's kind of the 2 main ones from center. In terms of left, or not left, sorry, right, there's really only one main one. And in order to do that, we're not actually going to show it during the auto position because we need the line to be gone. Because normally someone else would be taking the line. So for this, you'd want to take the 5. Oh, Oh, man, I completely messed it up. We did not grab the full 5. We'll try that one more time. Get those guys out of here. So yeah, you're starting here. Basically, you take the 5, you grab these, swing back over, you grab these 5, and we fire those all off for a total of 10 balls. So that's another one of the autos. So generally, you want to be able to do as many as you can. The left auto or the right auto is one of the most common currently. So if you're going to pick one, that's the one to do. And yeah, that's basically the autonomous stuff. In terms of picking up balls, the OG is definitely one of the most versatile. So you don't really have to think about it too much. You kind of just drive into it, slide along the wall. Make sure you're not going into it too hard because then you can get beached and stuck on top of other balls. And then once again, you can kind of just pick up along the wall very smoothly. Like so. And then as for popping hoppers, there's kind of two main schools of thought. Number one is where you bump the wall back up immediately and then kind of drive through. And that's how you get a large hopper there. And bumping the wall will just make it drop, and then you kind of swing in behind. Or I'll show you my preferred method, which I believe is better because it separates the balls a little bit quicker. Is you just kind of drive up to the line. You want to use your corner of your bumper to pop the hopper, let it drop, and then you pick up as many as you can. That was not actually a good drop, but you use the corner to separate the balls, and then you pick up as many as you can. So both of those are pretty valid strategies. In terms of control panel, either side works. Generally, this side is a little bit better because you can see the light easier. The control panel mechanism, as you can see, is on the climber as per all the other robots. And we can spin here, or we can go to the other side, and it's totally doable to spin. But as you can see, it's much harder to see the light. So you kind of have to adjust yourself to be able to see the light. In terms of climbing, OG's pretty versatile with climb positions. Generally, you want to have your intake facing out, so that means we line up like this and climb like that, or we line up like this and climb like this. There are some exceptions where you're doing specifically climb blocks, so you can line up like this, try and block a robot from entering in through here, holding them up as much, and then you come over here and you climb like so. That's going to give you a little bit of a better angle into climbing. And then just for this one, you have to do the complete opposite. You go like this, you enter like that. Nice and quick. In terms of balanced climbs, this is more of a single player thing, but you want to be in the center. You can either have the bar level, and you just want to wait until like there's 1 second left, and you just raise. Then you're going to get balanced climb. Or the other strategy is you can tip the bar a little bit forwards, and then do the same thing. You just climb after like 1 second. 1 second left to go. One thing to keep in mind is if you have your hood angle too high, so you see we maxed out our hood angle, you can't go under the trench anymore. You're going to see that, well, that time it worked, but you can see that our robot tilts up, and we can potentially get stuck under the trench if we have our hood angle too high. So just be aware of that. The other thing is if you have your climber up a little too much, once again, you're going to run into the same issues. Don't try and raise your climber underneath because now you can't move. And you can see you can really get yourself stuck. Now we're permanently stuck. Oh, no. we actually made it out. But oh, maybe not actually. But yeah, we are definitely very stuck inside the trench, and in that case, you'll have to restart your position. So be aware of that. In terms of single player, generally the strategy is to either start in left or center. Take the meta autonomous where you do this, you shoot your balls, and then you take the rest of the line. Another really important thing to do with OG is actually to prevent the jams, which is really why you need to have the reverse intake button bound. So basically, what you want to do is you want to hold fire. Once you get jammed, you want to just tap your outtake. So there we didn't really jam. There we didn't really jam either. But let's try and get a nice and big hopper that's likely to jam here. So you see we're jammed now. I'm holding the fire button, and what we're going to do is we're just going to tap the outtake like so, and that's going to clear our jam. Sometimes you're going to drop a few, which is unfortunate. The less you hold it, the less likely you're going to drop balls, but at the same time you're less likely to break the jam if you just like barely touch it. Yeah, so that's the gist of the OG or FRC shooter robot and everything you need to know really to get started.